This is Bits of Banter with Antoinette, and today we're talking about The Ultimatum on Netflix, Season 3, Episode 2. And let's get into it because Mama broke up on the wrong side of the bed and people pissed me off last time. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments down below. So where we left off last time was that JR was pretty much saying that like, oh, he had a really good connection with Arya, but she's a mixed girl, so he'd be settling and he really wants to try out the white girls. Yikes. And so he has like he's really excited about trying out things with Sandy. Micah pissed me off because he was laughing at what JR was saying, as well as he said that he's had been with white girl before, but he really only dates black girls. He seems to not really have like much of a connection with anybody. Same thing with what's her name, Chanel. I mean, she like had a few laughs with Dave, but like generally no connection. And then Nick is still creepy because he's trying to really tie down Sandy, who's 27 and he's 38, and he's trying to momify her and be like, you have really great motherly instincts, and she just wants to party, okay? And that is okay for her. And then Dave also creepy, also fucking creepy, because he immediately, this 34-year-old immediately was interested in the 24-year-old, what's her name, Mariah. I don't get that. And then also he was getting butthurt because then Vanessa started flirting with Nick and he was like, oh wow, Vanessa actually has options. Yeah, she does. She's pretty. Just because you've forgotten, okay, Dave, just because you've forgotten that Vanessa has valid doesn't mean other men won't see it. And then Scotty got like, his decimals got a little bit too high when he started yelling at Arya at the cocktail party because she was a little bit upset that he automatically went to start holding hands and being all lovey-dovey with Zarina. And understandably so, like literally you guys just broke up this morning. Like maybe don't be like giving bed eyes to that girl right in front of Arya. Maybe. And the only person that wasn't problematic was Caleb. And he just seemed really sweet, honestly. Caleb just seemed really sweet and he was like really trying to help Arya out when she was crying, and that was adorable. So let's get into episode 2, and I'm sure other people are gonna like piss me off on this episode as well. We start off with Nick and Vanessa having a conversation, and it's honestly super cute. Like Nick is saying that like he really likes her. They're like talking about how they're weird, which I don't understand. Neither of them are weird, like at all. At least not that I'm seeing, but they keep being like, oh my God, we're such weirdos. We're so different. We're outliers. And I'm like, I just don't see it. But maybe that's like a California thing. They're all from California. Maybe that's just like a Cali thing where like everyone really feels like they need to like really stand out, which I'm like, hey, you automatically stand out by being you. Like, you don't have to stand out. You automatically stand out by being you because nobody is you. But also, Vanessa talks again, and we found out more creepy things out about Dave. Pretty much she wanted to be a bodybuilder, and she did that like last year, but then she had to promise to never do it again because Dave didn't like it. And so I was like, I did not realize that what we were doing now was letting people that we were dating tell us what hobbies we could do. Like, I did not know that we were doing that. Also, I do not subscribe to that. So it's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me, but it's very on point with Dave to be like that, I feel like. Then Dave and Chanel have a conversation, and it was honestly just like uninteresting, like not much. I mean, she said that what she's looking for is trying to find somebody who's willing to show her blind spots, and Dave was like, I've never heard this before. You know, very, 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 slam poetry type stuff. We see a date with Micah and Mariah, and it seems like they really hit it off because they end up really getting, I mean, everyone keeps talking about how they get so deep, but I do feel like this conversation actually got a bit deep. Mariah talks about how her mom like really never let her like go outside. Like, I guess like when she was very much a helicopter mom, and anytime that her cousins would go outside, she was not allowed outside, and she had to really just stick by her mom. And then Micah was saying that that's not the life he lived. His mom just was like, hey, just be back by this time. And she really felt like because they came from different areas or different like lifestyles, and grew up differently, she feels like they could learn a lot from each other during this experiment. At this point, both Micah and Mariah just like very unproblematic. Mariah seems very, very sweet. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, Caleb also seems sweet, so I don't see him trying to hurt her in this situation, but it just is feeling like Mariah could very much well get hurt in this situation. Then we get a date with Arya and Caleb, and they seem like super friendly, super cute. But the main point were that Arya was saying that one of the reasons she's not ready to get married is because she wants to make sure that her life is together, and she never wants to make a decision based off of a man, and also never wants to have to be financially dependent on a man. And the thing is, even though she's like, and one thing that issues that she always has with Scotty is that like he doesn't really leave space for her emotions. Like her emotions are too much for him. Ooh, red fucking flag. Red fucking flag. And then even later in the episode, she talks about how like she starts crying because some nice thing that Caleb said, and she's like, well, I haven't really heard nice things in a while. And I'm like, girl, run. Run from Scotty, please. Run from Scotty, please. I mean, Scotty is basically our Ike Turner of the season. But yeah, so she says that, and that's why she's hesitant, and she's trying to just like leave space for herself. Caleb is hesitant because he feels like he could be replaceable, because Mariah really hasn't had much time in between relationships, as well as she's 24 and they've been dating for 2 years. So he started dating her when she was 22, and then I guess whoever she dated before that. So he pretty much feels like he could possibly be replaceable, and he wants to make sure that like, is she just like settling for me, or could there be someone else out there? It definitely feels like he just feels like she's so young, but then also, why are you dating her, girl? Why are you dating her, Caleb? Because if your concern is that she's just so young, maybe date someone that's not so young. I don't know. I feel like that's a solution, but that's just me. Then we get to the cocktail party, and everyone's looking very, very, very cute. But pretty much we have like a situation where Vanessa and Chanel are like pretty much being like, oh my God, girlies, loving girlies. And I love that for them. But then also we have a JR and Sandy go to the side, and they're all like, oh yeah, we've been super vulnerable with each other. And like, you would be, you know, a big risk. And she's like, you'd be a big risk for me. And I'm like, oh my God, honestly, get it in already, because obviously you guys just want to try each other out. And then Nick is literally staring at them like he's about to kill somebody. He's just like this. And then Dave is also still creepy and creeping on Mariah. She does not seem at all like she's interested. He's like, oh, you just get it. You just get it. Like, you're just emotionally. And then Vanessa finds herself literally staring at the conversation, and then she catches herself and she runs over to Nick. Her and Nick have a conversation, and he pretty much just keeps saying like, oh my God, I'm just so attracted to you. I'm just so attracted to you. Then we get to Scotty, and again, he's like, yeah, being one of two men, it's just like so hard. That gave the ultimatum. It's just like so hard. Why is it so hard? Oh my God. Like, literally, you're not saying anything. You're not saying anything. There's just like so many people like talking, but like literally no substance is coming out of their mouths, or like just words are coming out, but no substance. And the one thing Scotty keeps like, why do I keep having to fighting for somebody to love me, to accept me? Like, I know what I want and I know what I deserve, and I deserve to be married. I'm like, okay, well then leave. I mean, honestly, Scotty and Zaina both are giving off this feeling that all they care about is getting married. It doesn't matter to who. It doesn't matter to who. Also, do Zaina and JR even know each other? Like, do they even know each other? Because once they broke up, it was like as if like they just did not care. They're just like, next. Everybody else seems to have some type of emotional, like, they're showing that it's hard to have broken up with your spouse. You know what I mean? And seeing them flirt, they literally act like they don't care. This whole episode, I'm just like, I almost forgot that they were a couple. I keep forgetting. I'm like, wait, who was a couple with JR? Who was a couple? Because neither of them are speaking about each other. They're not even looking at each other. They don't even like still a conversation with each other. Like, it is so weird. I was like, do you know this woman? Do you know this man? I'm like, a prediction of mine is that maybe they don't. Like, did they like meet on the street and say like, hey, like, let's like try to get on this show? I don't know, maybe. Chanel and Dave continue to talk, and he's just talking about how it's so hard for him. It's so hard for him to see that other people are interested in Vanessa. And I'm like, dude, yeah, she's gorgeous. She's fun. She's quirky. Other people are going to be interested in her. How did you not think that? I think he's just having a hard time because already Arya let him know that she was like, oh, that's on over me, dude. You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, no. And he thought he was going to be the hot commodity there. And he's just like a zero bit. No commodity. Nobody wants that commodity. But him and Chanel do a cute thing where they like turn around and like try to smile at each other. But then also I made a mistake in the beginning of this video where I said that, oh, the conversation between Micah and Junior talking about the girls was last episode. No, it was this episode. And yeah, it was gross. It was gross. Junior talking about how, oh, you know, like, Sandy seems fiery. Have you ever been with a white girl? And Mike was like, I mean, I've been with one, but I haven't dated one. And then Junior being like, yeah, I'm interested. I want to try that. Ugh. He's just literally here to get it in. He's just here to, have sex. That's it. Like, that is it. And then he's saying, he's like, but Arya's really nice and we connect, but like, you know, I'm used to like this. I'm usually date mixed girls, you know, and she's Black and Hispanic, and you know, I like that, but like, that would be my safe option. It'd be your safe option because you usually date mixed girls. Like, get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Like, it is honestly like, so you're just not taking this experience seriously. And you know what, if my prediction's right, that like him and Zaina never actually knew each other, then yeah, he is, because he's not actually breaking up with anybody. He's just here to see like, oh, let's see what options are here. Then we get to, once again, Dave being upset and pulling Vanessa so that he can cry about the fact that he's like, oh my God, I did not know that you would be liked. I did not know that you'd be liked. I did not know. I didn't know that like I possibly would lose you, which is literally the whole point of the show. You could possibly lose your spouse. Like, a lot of people are like misunderstanding what an ultimatum is, as well as what the premise of the show is. Like, they're like not really understanding it, and it's specifically the men. The men aren't understanding it. They're like, wait, I could lose you to another man. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Did you not read the fine print or the large print? But yeah, pretty much Vanessa's like, don't worry about me. I'm taking this experiment seriously. And I was like, clock it, girl. Love that for you. But also she was saying, letting him know that she was like, yeah, I'm actually really excited for this trial. I have someone in mind. And Dave's like, really? Really? And she's like, yes, like, let that sink in. But she did have to be a little bit of a therapist for a while. And I was like, go cry on your own, dude. Okay. Go cry on your own time. Then again, Scotty, or Ike Turner, has a conversation with Zaina where he's trying to be deep again. And so many people are saying things but not saying anything. And he's like, yeah, when we came in this, we were in relations with other people, and then we broke up with other people, and then now we're dating each other in front of the other people that we broke up with. And it's just like, you know, like the emotions of like being excited and then the emotions of being like upset about the breakup are like still mixed in there. You know what I mean? It's like a very complex situation. Is it? Oh my God. You're not smart. Okay. You're not smart. You're trying to seem smart, and it's just like literally burning and making my ears bleed. Maybe like, I don't know, you need to shop that more. Like, you don't sound smart. And Zaina's just like, because she's just like, yeah. Are you going to marry me? Are you going to marry me? Maybe he'll marry me. Maybe he'll marry me. Maybe he'll marry me. And Scotty's like, maybe she'll marry me. Maybe she'll marry me. Maybe if I act like I'm smart and I just say a bunch of nonsense, maybe she'll marry me. Then JR and Arya end up having a conversation, and they do get a bit vulnerable. Like, he pretty much talks about how, I mean, there's one part where he said that he feels like Zaina just wants to get married, which is honestly, yeah, we see that. And she sees all of her friends getting married, and she's talking about freezing her eggs, and he doesn't want to start having to worry about kids just because of her time clock or whatever, or her biological clock. But also, he ends up talking about how the infidelity in his first marriage, like, you know, really hurt him. And he now, like, that's why it makes him a little bit more hesitant. He really wants to make sure that this person, whoever he marries now, is really the right person, because he's not going to do this again. He's not going to marry again. Ari ends up talking about the same thing, like that she comes from a home where people, you know, from a home of divorce. And so she's just like, she also really wants to make sure that this is like the right person. And if Scotty doesn't understand that, and Scotty isn't like willing to like really see where she's coming from, then he's not the right person for her. And then they talk about how they've been so vulnerable with each other, and he's like, he really feels like he can be vulnerable with her, and she really understands where he's coming from. But you know what? I'm going to do a prediction here, and I'm pretty positive he's still not going to pick Arya. He's going to pick the girl that he wants to fuck, Sandy. Maybe. I'm pretty positive that's what's going to happen. Then JR and Sandy, his little plaything, go and have like some drinks at the bar, and they seem like they're having super a lot of fun. And then they have their first kiss. But literally they keep talking about how like, oh yeah, I feel so comfortable and we can get so deep, but all they talk about is sexual stuff. That's it. They're just like, it's very, very sexual, flirty, which is like, hey, fun. Love that. And a lot of touching of each other. And then him being like, girls, oh, you're dangerous. Oh, you're so dangerous, girl. Like, oh my God, like literally get another line. And then he kisses her. It was more like a peck than anything else. But I was like, I think this is the first time we've seen somebody kiss before they actually even pick. Yeah, before the choice. And it's just like, this man is just trying to get it in. He does not care. Like, he is not at all taking this experiment seriously. And maybe it's because he's like, him and Zaina never really actually dated. Or maybe they dated in the past, but they have definitely been broken up for a while. Like, they've already grieved this relationship and they do not care about who each other dates. I don't know. It's either or, but it's definitely not that they just broke up like everybody else. And honestly, also Sandy, Nick, you can tell Nick cares that Sandy's flirting. Sandy doesn't even seem to give a shit about Nick. I was like, why are you even here? Maybe you should have just broken up with Nick. You don't care about that man. You don't care about that man at all. Then we get into the choice and we start off, and honestly, shots are fired. Scotty starts off talking about Dana and how pretty much he thinks that she's gonna be a great wife and a great mother. And he's just like, we got so deep so quickly, did you? And also, how do you know that she's gonna be a great wife and a great mother from like, what, 4 days of like some dates? I don't know. That sounds crazy to me. But that's just me. But yeah, he pretty much also talks about all of her great qualities. And he's like, yeah, basically saying that like all the great qualities that Zaina doesn't have, Zaina has, Ari doesn't have. And Ari just has to sit there and listen. But it's definitely feeling like he is trying to make sure that Arya hears what he's saying. And he's like, yeah, I've dated someone for 3 years. Yeah, that girl is right there, right across from you. We know you've dated someone for 3 years. We're literally watching her listen to you talk about it. I used to date someone for 3 years and she just never really saw me for who saw me. So then why do you want to marry her? That's confusing. That's a thinker right there. If she never really saw you or understood you, why do you want to marry her? I mean, this man just talks a bunch of shit all day long. I mean, he also ends up saying that he's not trying to be petty while being petty. Then Zaina responds to Scotty's all his good things that he said, and she's crying, being like, it's so weird how someone in a week could like just really see you and see all these good things about you, and pretty much being like saying that she hasn't heard these good things in a while, probably because her and JR have been broken up for a very long time, and maybe she just really hasn't been dating anyone for a while. Or maybe that's an issue that they had in their past relationship, because I still really do not think that they've been dating, but whatever. Or maybe they have been dating and the love has just been gone for a very long time, because she's pretty much crying about the fact that some nice things have been said about her, and I guess nice things haven't been said to her in a long time in this relationship. Then why did you give the ultimatum to this man? If your man is not saying, I really feel like I would only want to marry somebody if I feel like I'm getting nice things said to me. And I mean, that's not the only thing, but I hope like the person I want to marry is saying really nice things to me, like on the regular, and letting me know, and I know why they would want to marry me. I don't know. It just seems so weird. But then, Scotty chooses Zaina, and Zaina says yes and chooses Scotty. So they are a couple. And then Scotty ends up saying something like, any man would be lucky to have Zaina, and JR ends up saying like, you're right. Like, that some of the stuff was tough for me to hear, but like any man would be lucky to have her. And it felt very coded like, but I ain't that man that wants her. It just felt very coded like that. Like, I'm not the man that wants her, but anyone would be lucky to have her. Ooh. Then we get to hear from Mariah, and she ends up saying that she really had a great conversation with Micah, and that it feels like a really great friendship, and like any relationship starts on a really great friendship. Basically saying that she's not attracted to that man. Also, that man's not attracted to her, so equals equal, you know what I mean? But they end up choosing each other, and all Micah ends up saying is that like, yeah, like we seem like we're a good friendship, and I like how she challenges me, and so I pick her too. He's just, this just doesn't feel like Micah is like, hasn't shown any interest in any of the other women, like at all, at least not what they've shown us. So I think he's just like, sure, I'll take you. Why not? But it seems like Chanel seemed like really upset about it. Like, she just seemed like she was really hurting by like just the whole process. Also, Arya ended up crying too, after Scotty and the whole Zaina thing picked, and she was like, yeah, there's a lot of insecurities that are coming up for me that I didn't realize I had. Then we get to hear from Chanel and Dave, who end up picking each other, but Chanel ends up saying that she feels like Micah is really the one she first broke up with, is really calculated and planned, and Dave just feels like a little bit more like chill, and so it will be interesting and calm, and so it'll be interesting to like date him and get that perspective from him. And then Dave pretty much said that he was having a hard time, which we all know. We saw that man crying a lot, which is like literally nothing wrong with men crying, but just like I just didn't like his crying. And then he pretty much says that Chanel is like so calm and calming, and like so he's excited to like be in a trial marriage with her to like kind of get that, pretty much like he's excited to get therapy from Chanel. And then he ends up picking her and she ends up picking him. And then what was so like sweet kind of was that Micah got really choked up, really, really choked up. And he's like, hey, that's my best friend, Chanel. He's like, that's my best friend. That girl's my best friend. So you better take care of her and you better make sure that she's safe. You'll be safe as long as she's safe. And I was like, clock that, dude. Clock that. That like felt really sweet. I was like, I think that's the only people that I really believe that maybe should stay in a relationship, maybe, is Mike and Chanel. We just don't really hear much from them, like, at all. But like, you can tell that Micah loves that woman. You can tell that Micah loves that woman, you know, just the way that was, and that Chanel loves that man. So, I don't know, maybe they could work it out. So then we're towards the end of the episode, and JR ends up talking about Aria and how pretty much like they got really deep, like he feels really comfortable with her. They, you know, had a really great conversations. There's some similarities in their upbringing. And then they asked him like, so, but also you connected with Sandy. What did you like? And the first thing he says is that, you know, a big thing for me is physical touch. Again, just proving that this man just wants to get it in. He just wants to have sex with Sandy. And I really feel like Sandy just wants to have sex with him. And then they do say like, but you know, we also got vulnerable. He tried to save it. And Nick is literally looking like he's about to have an aneurysm. But yeah, like he doesn't really say much about Sandy, just like, yeah, you know, she's really pretty. He also says Aria is really pretty. Aria ends up talking about JR. Sandy ends up talking about JR. It's all very superficial, especially between the Sandy and JR, but I am positive they are going to pick each other, but they do not pick each other during this. They leave it on cliffhanger. So episode 3, I guess, is when JR is going to pick who he wants to pick. The only people that do not seem emotional at all, Sandy's like, I don't care. JR's like, I don't care. And like, as if they just like never, like, did you not just come from a relationship? But yeah, so I guess we'll see next episode who they're going to pick. I have my predictions. I feel like JR is going to pick Sandy because he's definitely trying to get it in and Sandy's trying to get it in too. But okay, that is the end of the recap and review of the Ultimatum Season 3, Episode 2. So please like and subscribe and leave your comments down below. I want to hear what you think about the couples. And then till next time, I will recap Episode 3. Bye. Love you. Mean it.